In the quiet moments of our lives, when the noise of the world fades and we are left with only our own thoughts, a subtle but powerful question often whispers within us: am I living true to who I am meant to be? The book How to Build Self-Accountability is a profound journey into answering that question, not with guilt or harshness, but with compassion, clarity, and an unwavering commitment to inner growth. It teaches that self-accountability is not about punishing ourselves for mistakes, but about gently, yet firmly, taking responsibility for the life we are shaping each day. It is a practice of aligning our actions with our deepest values and becoming the kind of person who doesn't just dream of change, but becomes change itself. At its heart, self-accountability begins with self-honesty. And honesty, real honesty, is not about confessing our sins to the world, but about telling the truth to ourselves even when it hurts. The book opens with the idea that many people spend their lives in a loop of self-deception, not because they are bad, but because they are afraid. Afraid of seeing the gap between who they are and who they want to be. But as the author gently reminds us, real growth starts with the courage to look in the mirror, not just to see the surface reflection, but to meet the soul beneath it. Self-honesty is the mirror we hold up not once, but daily. It asks us, did you show up with integrity today? Did you follow through on your promises, not just to others, but to yourself? The book doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for presence. It invites us to witness our own behaviors without flinching and without self-judgment. In one powerful story, the author shares the experience of a man who repeatedly promised himself to wake up early and exercise. Each night, he would write his goals with conviction. But each morning, he hit the snooze button. At first, he blamed the cold, his work schedule, his lack of energy. But after weeks of this cycle, he sat quietly and asked a simple but transformative question: what am I avoiding by not keeping my word to myself? The answer came not in words, but in the feeling of being out of alignment with his own values. That discomfort became his turning point, not because someone else held him accountable, but because he finally chose to hold himself accountable. This is where the book shines. It transforms accountability from a heavy burden into an act of self-love. It teaches that when we take ownership of our choices, we are not restricting our freedom, we are claiming it. True freedom doesn't come from doing whatever we want in the moment. It comes from doing what is right for our future self. And this requires discipline, not the kind rooted in shame or pressure, but the kind born from purpose. The book describes discipline as a sacred promise we make to the person we are becoming. It's not about being rigid or robotic. It's about honoring the commitments that nourish our integrity. Another key message in the book is the concept of emotional ownership. So often, we let circumstances or other people determine our emotional state. We say things like, "She made me angry," or "This situation ruined my day." But the author gently challenges this mindset, reminding us that emotions, while real and valid, are our responsibility. No one can make us feel anything unless we surrender that power. Emotional accountability means learning to pause between stimulus and response, to ask ourselves, what story am I telling myself right now? Is it helping or hurting me? The book guides readers through the importance of reflection, creating quiet space in our lives to ask deeper questions. Where am I lying to myself? What patterns am I repeating? Who do I blame, and what am I avoiding by blaming them? These are not easy questions, but the author emphasizes that asking them is not an act of self-punishment, it is an act of spiritual bravery. To live with integrity means facing these questions with compassion and courage. There's a profound section in the book about the difference between motivation and accountability. Motivation is a feeling, fleeting and unreliable. Accountability is a structure, steady and intentional. Many people wait to feel ready before taking action. But the book teaches that waiting for motivation is like waiting for the wind to blow in the right direction. Instead, we must build systems that make follow-through inevitable. That may mean journaling every night to reflect on the day's choices. It may mean telling a trusted friend your goals, not so they can police you, but so you can speak your intentions into existence. It may mean creating visible reminders, quotes, alarms, lists, that pull you back when you drift. But ultimately, the most powerful system is your why. The book returns again and again to the question, why does this matter to you? If your goals are rooted in external validation, they will crumble. But if they are anchored in purpose, in the desire to become someone you deeply respect, then accountability becomes a joyful path. In one touching story, a woman struggles to stay sober. She has relapsed several times, blaming her environment and past traumas. But one day, she meets her younger sister after a long time. The sister hugs her and whispers, "I always knew you'd come back to yourself." That moment awakens her. She realizes she doesn't want to stay sober for appearances. She wants it because she wants to be the kind of woman her sister can look up to. That is the soul of self-accountability. Not fear, not pressure, but love. The book also teaches how to handle failure with grace. Holding ourselves accountable doesn't mean never making mistakes. It means owning them, learning from them, and committing to do better, not for applause, but for alignment. The author encourages readers to create a ritual of reflection when they fall short. Instead of spiraling into guilt, they are guided to ask, "What was I feeling in that moment? What did I need? How can I meet that need in a healthier way next time?" This kind of inner dialogue transforms setbacks into stepping stones. Perhaps one of the most emotionally resonant insights in the book is this: we are already worthy, even as we work to improve. Accountability is not about proving our value. It's about expressing it. When we show up for ourselves, we send a message to our inner child, our future self, our deepest soul: I matter. My life matters. My choices matter. That sense of worthiness becomes the soil in which self-accountability can grow. In the closing chapters, the author paints a powerful vision of the person who walks in self-accountability. They are not the loudest in the room. They are not obsessed with productivity. Instead, they are grounded, peaceful, and powerful in a quiet way. They don't need external validation because their integrity is their anchor. They make promises carefully and keep them diligently. They forgive themselves quickly but take their commitments seriously. They live with intention, and that intention radiates into every corner of their life, from relationships to career to health. To build self-accountability, then, is to come home to yourself. It is to reclaim authorship of your story. It is to stop outsourcing your life to luck, to blame, or to distraction, and to begin creating a life that reflects your truest values. You will not always get it right. You will stumble, but every time you choose to rise again with awareness and intention, you are practicing accountability. And with each choice, you become a little stronger, a little wiser, a little more whole. This book is not just a guide, it is a mirror, a map, and a mentor. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It invites you, with gentle strength, to live a life of deep alignment. And in doing so, it helps you become someone you can trust, someone you admire, someone whose life is not just lived, but led, with heart, with clarity, and with grace.